Hey everyone, I'm here with Chris Meets from AnywherePOD. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk to you again.
Yeah, excited for you to be here. You have something special that's brand new, so I wanted to show everybody what that's about. I think it can help a lot of people get a lot of sales on Etsy this year, so stay tuned for that. But we've met in person actually in Austin. That was pretty cool that we got to do that. For the people that don't know you as well as I do, I know you've been on 6 months ago. I looked, we did an interview, but for those that didn't see that or don't know you, can you just give us a little bit about who you are and what Anywhere POD is?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Kind of crazy. That was already 6 months ago. It's amazing how fast time tends to fly by. But
I know.
I'm Chris Meets, the founder of Anywhere POD. So Anywhere POD is a print on demand kind of automation and personalization tool. So we're going to be talking a lot about personalization today because there's been some huge news recently. If you're doing personalized listings on Etsy, some huge news there that makes it easier than ever before. So we'll get into that a little bit more here in a few minutes, but we're able to automate a lot on the personalization side, a lot of stuff with images and clip art, and of course, text and AI generated images that can convert customers' images. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do there on that front that's really exciting. And then also, Anywhere POD has a whole suite of personalization features that make it easier and faster to list and manage your products on Etsy, but also on Shopify and Everbee Store if you're running your own stores as well. So we have a lot of automation tools there that help with automatically generating your mockups, so you don't have to generate those one at a time. We have a bulk uploader. We have a really new variant wizard tool that lets you do kind of group or like multi-product, multi-artwork style listings, and be able to create those in bulk as well, which is another new feature I'm really excited about. We'll have to talk about again sometime.
Mhm.
But a lot of stuff kind of on that automation front as well. Personalization is kind of our flagship feature set and is what kind of put Anywhere POD on the map, and it's still a huge focus of ours. And with these new Etsy updates, it's more relevant than ever before. So super excited to talk more about the new personalization options that are available now.
Cool. All right. That's a great segue because, yeah, you told me about this. That's why I wanted to have you on the Etsy updates. I had no idea about this, and everywhere I go on Etsy, I'm seeing a lot of these personalization or personalized T-shirts. It's on everything from blankets to everything else, mugs and everything. I do T-shirts, so I'm seeing a lot on T-shirts as well, and
Yep.
it's pretty relevant because I'm seeing it also like on Father's Day stuff and summer stuff and cruises, with families and things like that. So I think this is super relevant right now. Tell us a little bit more about this Etsy update that you mentioned. What happened there? What is actually the update?
Yeah, for sure. So, a little bit of the background.
Uh-huh.
Personalization has been something that's like done really, really well on Etsy for a really
Mhm.
long time. Etsy's kind of known for that kind of handmade type of marketplace where you're going to get something a little bit more personalized than you will from other places. Etsy they've spent millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads telling people come to Etsy for that unique,
Mhm.
personalized handmade gift. The problem with Etsy is that you've only ever had one kind of text box to be able to enter in personalization information. So
Mhm.
if you had, multiple lines of text, like you want your customer to enter a name and a date, or you want them to be able to select from a list of options, like select what font they want, or select from like a clip art image, or even be able to upload their own image. None of that was ever very easy to do. There's a few workarounds in place that kind of made it at least doable. But up until now, Etsy's only had that one box to be able to enter in personalization information and only a text box. They've now opened that up where you can have multiple unique personalization fields on
Mhm.
any of your listings. So this is huge. This is like
Mhm.
the biggest update. Etsy has not touched their like listing page in any substantial way since about 2017 when they first
Wow,
added that personalization box,
it's crazy.
right? So for them to make this big of a change on on the actual like listing page right there on Etsy. It's just going to help to increase the conversion rate. People are going to be more likely to buy and purchase because they don't have to jump through all of these hoops to upload an image or to enter their personalization information. So it really makes it easier than ever before to be able to do this. So they now have up to 5 personalization fields that you can add onto your listings. So you can do multiple lines of text. So if you've got a name and a date, you can have a field for
Mm-hmm.
each one of those. If you're doing, you have a font or color selection you want them to be able to select from, you're able to do that now as well. And then the really cool thing is you can have them upload up to 10 images
Whoa.
onto any of your listings as well, right? So it's
Wow.
like way easier to do images. Anywhere POD in particular has some really unique integrations with all of those, but especially on the images that makes it even easier than any other platform to be able to do personalization. No matter what you're adding, even the images is super easy to be able to add those.
Nice. Okay, that's a great, good setup for the next thing that I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to ask you, now that we know Etsy has these changes, how does Anywhere POD fit into that? How can Anywhere POD help us, make it more personal, get some personalization onto some of our products?
Yeah, for sure. So, having these additional options is like really nice for the seller, makes it really nice for the customer to be able to put in their personalization. But then, the next question is, well, what do
Hmm.
you do with that as a
Yeah,
seller, right? Like, how do you
yeah.
actually use that so you don't have to still spend a whole bunch of extra time on all of your Etsy listings, right? Because
Hmm.
there's an opportunity cost to everything, right? So the idea is instead of having to spend all of your time kind of servicing orders that you've already received and copying and pasting the customer's text and downloading images and all that type of thing, using a tool like Anywhere POD to automate that artwork creation process. So you're not having to touch every individual order. So you're not even having to touch every individual image from the customer is just a huge, huge time saver. You don't even have to set up the personalization fields in Etsy
Oh,
and figure
really?
out how all of that works. All of that is automated for you. So we can get into
Wow.
an example here
Yeah,
in a minute, but
yeah, yeah.
essentially all you have to do is create your product in Anywhere POD, very similar to how you would create your product on Printify. Actually, it's connected directly to your Printify account. You set it up with any of the personalization fields, whether it's text or images or fonts or colors or clip art, all of that you just set up in Anywhere POD. And then when that listing is published over to Etsy, the correct personalization settings are automatically configured and are all set up to link back to your original artwork.
Wow.
So whenever you receive an order, it's going to automatically put in the correct text from the customer, set the right font color, and especially on images, this is the one that I'm super excited about because it's going to be able to take that customer's image. It's going to apply that to your artwork as well in the same position and style, exactly how you have it set up. So if you're using like a frame from Canva, so you have rounded corners and you've got a square image on your product, Anywhere POD is going to take that image that the customer uploaded. We're going to detect the objects in that image. So we're going to detect the people in that image, and we're going to automatically apply that Canva frame to your image for you with the main kind of object of people that are in that image already centered. If the image then needs upscaled, we're going to automatically upscale
Wow.
it and we're going to build that into your artwork. So, all of those steps that normally you would have to take, even with these new settings from Etsy, if you're doing, say, a photo collage blanket and you get 10 images, you don't want to have to sit there and download all 10 individual images individually, crop out and apply the correct rounded corners to all 10 images, then re-upload those to your design and then re-add those to Printify. That is way more work than you
Yeah.
want to do on every single order that you receive. Using a tool like Anywhere POD, we're going to automate all of those steps all along the way for you. So you're not touching each individual image, and all you're having to do, even on a product that normally would seem a little bit more complicated, you're not having to spend that extra time to go through and do all those personalization steps. It's just going to build the artwork for you, give it to you to review and be able to approve and send it off to Printify or whatever provider you're using for production.
Nice. All right. Big time saver.
For sure.
And people will naturally gravitate towards personalization anyway. And so hopefully more sales. And because of that, the time saver, you don't have to do it for all the sales that come in. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a show and tell. Do you have something that we can show and see what that kind of process looks like?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
All
I've
right.
got a couple examples here. We can kind of walk
Okay.
through how those get created. We can start with something doing text. Then I'd love to show a few
Yeah.
images as well, so we kind of get an idea of how that process
Nice.
works because it's pretty
You
unique.
Nice. Okay, you ready? I can show what you have right now.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
All right. All right. Here's this looks like a Christmas ornament. Talk us through this. What is this?
Yeah, so this is just first example, so you can kind of see what the new
Hmm.
Etsy listing page looks like because it's got a
Oh,
few
okay.
fields here that you're not used to probably seeing on all of your listings, right? So this is just a sample Christmas ornament, which I know we're going into summer, but you really got to start planning for Q4 early. And we were talking before, Jenny, you were mentioning, even people kind of celebrate that Christmas in July,
Yeah,
Rainbow
Christmas in
Now
July.
as
They
well. Yeah.
could be buying Christmas ornaments or Christmas themed things in July, right? Or for July even. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it's probably also a good time to note that all of the functionality that we're showing here, it doesn't really matter what the product is, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
think about the process and use this for some good kind of idea generation. But the products that we're showing are really just examples. It's the same process whether you're selling ornaments or a T-shirt or acrylic plaque. It's kind of universal across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is one has two personalization fields on it here. We've got the name and then the date. So
Hmm.
what's
Hmm.
really nice now, instead of just having that one text field that the customer can enter their information on, we've got a name field here and a year field. So they're
Okay.
able to specify both of those very specifically to be able to add that personalization. Once the customer places an order, that order is going to import into AnywherePOD. We're going to be able to take the name that they entered in the name field and apply it to the correct spot in your design. And then same thing on the year. So that's all going to be linked up
Wow.
automatically to your artwork. So you're not having to make any copy and paste or edits or anything like that. It's just all going to sync up for you the correct way.
Very cool. Yeah, easy. Seems easy
Yeah,
to me.
yeah, yeah. So we'll walk through. I can walk through a little example here of creating. Maybe we'll do a T-shirt.
Yeah,
Um,
love t-shirts.
in
Okay.
um, in Anywhere POD.
Okay.
Let me just show you guys kind of what we're going for first here. Let me
Okay.
share this tab instead. So this is an example of a T-shirt where,
Hmm.
like normal, they can select their color and their size options
Right.
here
Of the t-shirt. Yeah.
of the actual shirt itself. Yep. And then down below here, you'll see we have several other personalization options.
Wow.
So this is one where they can enter the names that they want above the image.
Hmm.
They can select from different font options. So if they want like a script style font or a block font,
I see.
serif, whatever you want to put in here, you can set exactly what the font options are they can select from.
Pretty cool.
And then they can select their text color as well, right? So if
Wow.
they want a coordinating text color to go with their shirt or a certain text color that they want, they can select that text color here as well.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And then the new one that's really cool is the file upload here. That I'll walk through exactly kind of how that auto crop functionality works that I mentioned. That's going to automatically handle the processing of your customers' images, so
Hmm.
you don't have to do those individually.
Very nice. All right. Wow. We got 4 customization things that I'm seeing right there already. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. All right, so I'm going to jump over here to Anywhere POD real quick, and I'll kind of walk
Okay.
through the product creation process for you on how that works.
Okay.
So I've got this same design that I just showed you. I already have that set up in Canva, so it just has the text field in
Ah, easy.
Canva. And
Okay.
then I've got the image in Canva as well already set up as a frame. So it has the rounded corners and the shape that I'm
Nice.
looking for.
Nice.
So we're going to come in here and go to t-shirts.
Okay.
And so we'll just go to our list of Printify t-shirts here.
Nice.
So this is connected to my Printify account.
Hmm.
So this is just the process very similar to when you create a new product in Printify, except I'm just creating it in AnywherePOD instead.
Okay.
So when I'm in here, I'm going to select the product. So we're going to do comfort colors here.
Nice.
And then you just select the print supplier that you want to use, much
Okay.
like you would inside of Printify.
Hmm.
So in this case, we'll go to Swift POD.
Okay.
And then this is where I'm going to set up my artwork and add my personalization field right to my design, right?
Okay. Yep.
So you have the option here. We can either upload our artwork as a PNG, or what's really cool is if we're using Canva, we can actually import that design directly from Canva as
Wow.
an editable template.
Wow. That's
So
powerful.
since we have this already set up in Canva, we don't have to reset up our text and our image and our frame. Like
Nice.
all of that's just going to import for
Just
us.
remembers it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge time saver.
There it is.
So on this one right here, here's our t-shirt example. I'm just
Okay.
going to go to import layers.
Ah, it
And then this is,
remembers the layers. Okay.
yeah. So this is going to import not only the text that I entered, but it's also going to import that image in
Hmm.
this with all of the same settings, just
Hmm.
how I have exactly how I have it set up in Canva as well.
That's so smart. So you could have multi-layered things in Canva, like different fields. That's really cool.
Yeah. This works especially nice, which I can show a quick example of once we're done with the t-shirt here. But if you're doing like a photo collage style,
Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
all of the images. You get all those set up in Canva and you don't have to reconfigure it. And
That's
all
so
your
cool.
personalization is just done for you.
Wow. Well, there you go. There's the 2 layers.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here's our text here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that text as personalized.
Nice.
And then here I have the choice to add a font and a color collection, which is
Oh,
just saying
wow. That's
I
what it
want the
said.
customer to be able to select from a list of fonts.
Hmm.
So I'm going to use these 2 fonts that I already have set up here. You can
Nice.
give them whatever name you want, and you can select from a huge list of other fonts that
Wow.
we have available as well,
Pretty cool.
and add your own custom fonts if you want to.
Nice.
Same thing with colors. So I'm just going to select from a list of colors that I already have here. You can
Wow.
add any colors that you want. Let them be able to select from a list of options there.
Nice.
So that's all I need to do on the text field. For my image, what's really cool is this is already set up to be personalized because it
Okay.
detected the frame that I already had set up in Canva.
Ah, okay.
So it pulled in that frame for me. It set up the image cropper. It has it set up to crop to a custom shape. The only other step I want to do is make sure that we have this enable auto crop turned on. That's the process that's going to allow Anywhere POD to crop your customers' images automatically and upscale them if needed.
That's really nice.
Yeah, huge time saver here. So once we have that set, we're going to go to create product.
Okay.
And now this is going to create the product for us inside of Anywhere POD.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah. So we'll be able to finish generating, if we want to change our title tags, descriptions, of course, you're going to want to do all of that work like you normally would.
Hmm.
It's going to generate kind of that placeholder artwork for us with everything set up there. And then it's also going to generate any mockups that are available for this
Nice.
product.
Mhm.
So this is some of those kind of automation steps that I was talking about before, where it's not only giving me all of my Printify mockups that are available here. So I have access to all of those. But you can
Nice.
see my primary image here. That's actually a custom mockup that I added to my account that just
Wow.
automatically generates for me every time that
That's
I
cool.
don't have to put in the time to go create that mockup. It's just going to automatically be there for me. So once you have your product done, when you publish this over to Etsy, it's going to automatically set up all of the personalization fields for you. If you want to look at how those fields are going to be set up, when I click on configure Etsy personalization, it's going to show it to me here in
There you
Anywhere
go.
POD. You can see it's got those same 4 fields
Mhm.
with my drop down options for my font and my
Oh,
color
right.
and my image
Mhm.
upload. Already everything's set up and configured for
Wow,
me.
that's so nice. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
So now when I just go to push to Etsy, this is going to publish this product over to Etsy for me, set
Okay.
up all of those personalization fields.
Whoa, that was
And
fast.
yeah,
Yeah,
everything's just going to be set up there as a draft listing here in Etsy.
there you go.
And you
You're in
can
Etsy.
see right here, my new personalization fields are all
Oh,
set up
okay.
and configured automatically for me.
Nice. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty slick.
So on this product now, when someone actually places an order, so if
Yeah,
I'm a customer here and
and you
I upload an image,
okay, yeah, I was gonna ask you about this. I'm glad you're showing this.
so I upload an image, the customer is going to see just a little generic thumbnail here
Okay,
that Etsy is going to provide that basically is just saying your image is attached to it, right?
okay, yep.
Then when this order imports into Anywhere POD, it is going to import that image that the customer uploads.
There it
So
is.
here I
Okay.
am now back in Anywhere POD. I can
Uh-huh.
see all of the personalization information that
All
the
right.
customer entered,
Mhm,
and I can see the original image that the
mhm.
customer uploaded is going to be listed here. And then on the left here, I'm going to have the sample artwork that we
Okay,
automatically generated for you
with the
with
round
that
corners.
cropping
Yeah.
enabled,
Mhm.
already upscaled.
Wow.
So at this point, you're basically just reviewing and approving the product,
Yep.
and just need to click on release hold when you're ready for that order
Okay.
to be released, essentially.
Really
So
cool.
in this
Oh,
case, you can see it applied that crop. This is
mhm.
the original image that is kind
Yeah.
of the sample
Oh,
that the
yeah. It
customer
was
would have
too tall,
uploaded.
and
Yeah,
so
so you
they
can see
cropped it.
most people are going to be taking a picture on their cell phone, right? So they're going to
Yeah.
have this tall vertical image that
Yep.
then needs kind of cropped down to size. It needs
Yep.
the rounded corners applied to it. All that type of stuff needs done to it. So instead of you having to do it manually, the system automatically detected
So
where the
cool.
people were in this image and then automatically cropped it and applied the rounded corners so that it fits in our design in the same style and
Mhm.
position and location as the original was that you set up without you having to do anything. This just
Wow.
automatically happened while you were spending time with your family and getting your
Yeah.
freedom back. So
That's right. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm glad you showed the difference that it did that automatically. And I see the names in red up there. So it's pretty much a preview of what it's going to look like, right? On the
exactly. Yeah,
workflow.
this
Okay.
is the essential actual artwork that Anywhere
Mhm.
POD generated for you. So if you need to ever make any changes here, that's a super simple process as well. You can just go to edit
Oh,
personalization. You
wow.
can see all of the information here that the customer entered. If for some reason you need to recrop that image, you can always come in here and make
Oh,
any
okay.
fine tune adjustments if you need to. Since it is an automated system, if maybe you're like, that needs just a little bit of a tweak here, you can
Mhm.
tweak the ones that you need tweaked. But
Nice.
it's completely hands off
So it's
from
not
there.
final, it's a preview. If you approve, then one click, you're done. And if not, you can still make changes. So that's cool. Really cool.
Exactly, you
Yeah.
got it. Yep.
Nice. Very cool. Thanks for showing us that.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. That's the photo upload process is it's one of the things I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we were in a position to be able to really kind of deeply integrate with that process, so that if this was just one image on a shirt, but even
Mhm.
if you're doing something that is a little more advanced
Oh, right. Yeah.
on a
You
bigger
mentioned something
product,
like this. Yeah. You can upload up to 10 images, you said, right? So why
yeah,
not have something with more images? Really cool. This
exactly.
has
And
6 images.
y- you look at products like this on Etsy, like photo collage style
Mhm.
blankets. This one's for
Huge.
Mother's Day. They obviously do well for grandmas. We're coming
Mhm.
into Father's Day season, and
Father's
of
Day.
course,
Yep.
all of this sells during Q4, right?
Yeah.
But really, really year round, these do uh, really good numbers because people are buying
Okay.
them not only for Mother's Day, but also as
Yeah.
birthday presents and that sort of thing as
Makes
well.
sense.
Um,
Yeah.
so on a product like this, if you're buying a 60 by 80 blanket, that's a pretty big blanket,
Mhm. Mhm.
there will be times that, that photo then needs that upscaling applied to it. So
Mhm.
instead of you having to do that manually, that's all going to be handled. So in this case, this one has 6 images. Customer uploads all 6 images. It
Wow,
imports into Anywhere POD, and we're able to just go through and automatically crop and upscale if needed
that's
the
crazy.
customer's image. So it really makes the process a lot easier for you.
That's really cool. I had an idea when you just showed me this. I was thinking graduation. When someone
Oh
goes off
yeah.
to college, they might want to take a blanket of their family to remember them, and they have like a keepsake thing. Like, this is my family, and I miss my family, but I have this blanket or whatever. It'd make a great graduation gift or going off to college gift or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, almost like could almost both, right? Like a
yeah.
graduation gift would be really cool because they're
Uh-huh.
usually graduating from college and kind of
Uh-huh.
moving on to the next phase of their
Yeah. Yep.
life,
Yep.
but
Yep.
also like first day of school, like they're going
That's
off
true
to
too.
college and being able to send a blanket off along with
Yeah.
them. That's really, yeah, I
That's
like both
really
of those
cool.
a
Could
lot
be powerful.
for
Right.
sure.
Wow. Thanks for sharing this. This has got me have a lot of ideas. I'm thinking people watching this video have a lot of ideas for personalization too. So this is really cool. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can do with it now. I would say like don't feel too overwhelmed, right? Like
Yeah.
all of the options that we have in Anywhere POD really are kind of modular. What I mean
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
that is like Anywhere POD will meet you where you are. So if you just want to do text and automate some
Hmm.
of your mockups,
Hmm.
like start there. And then when you're getting comfortable with that, try adding a few different things
Yeah.
since you're able to import those designs right from Canva. Like if you use Canva and you know how to add images to a frame in Canva, you're going to be very comfortable using Anywhere POD because you're going to be able to
Mhm.
import that directly into Anywhere POD.
Yeah, some easy wins off the top of my head I was thinking was father since, like for Father's Day, father since the year. You're just having the personalization year, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe some names of your kids, your father of, and then maybe you have 3 kids or whatever. Or family vacations, one is real easy. You change the name of the family, right? On
for
there,
sure.
2026, or summer vacation or cruises, family cruise with your family name on there. Everybody gets one, right? So
Right.
yeah, some
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
easy ones,
We have
easy wins.
the Deco Plate platters that we have. They're
Yes,
kind of an
that's right.
exclusive product to Anywhere POD.
That's
They
right.
sell like crazy. If you're
Father's Day,
looking
right?
for a good win during Father's Day and you're
There you go.
somebody new trying to get your first few sales, I
Yeah,
would highly recommend going into Anywhere POD. Take a look at Deco Plate. They're
plates.
exclusive to Anywhere POD, and people are selling them as like Father's Day, like barbecue style
That's
platters,
right. That's right. You
which
mentioned
fits
it the
right into the
last time.
personalization because they'll
Yeah,
put like the kids' names on the platters. Like they do
perfect.
excellent during Father's Day. That's a huge
Nice.
product.
Nice. Well, that's a great segue. I'm gonna take this out. Where to find anywhere? Where can we find you? Learn more about the deco plates and the other things I have. AnywherePOD.com and AnywherePOD YouTube. Any place else we can find you and learn more about Anywhere
Yeah, so we
POD?
can leave a link in the description
Okay,
for everybody as well, where they can go sign up for an account. Juna has a coupon code that'll be linked down there along
I
with
do.
it as well. That'll give you your first month for free. So
Nice.
really, if you're looking to get started, maybe you're looking for that Father's Day
Yeah,
product and you want to try
perfect timing.
doing deco plate with personalization, like get in there now. You're going to be in the middle of June before you have any fees associated with it, which the fees with Anywhere POD is only just a flat monthly fee. So we don't
Nice.
charge for any of our AI functionality. We don't charge
Wow.
for orders. You're still able to keep all of your same profit. Like we're not getting in the middle of orders at all. So
Nice.
for the less than a cup of coffee, you're able to completely automate your store. So I would highly
That's so
recommend
cool.
taking a look. You can find that down below.
I
We
will
do
put
have
it.
some more videos and replays on our YouTube channel, like Juna
Okay. Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
as
Yep.
well.
I'm in.
Yep. We've got 2 or 3 already that we've done,
Wow.
kind of deep diving into these personalization features. So make sure to check those out if you have more questions about personalization. And if you do get into it and you have any questions, like we encourage people to reach out to our support.
Oh, good.
So if you got
Perfect.
any questions at all, once you get in, there's a little chat button in the bottom right. You can send support a message. We kind of pride ourselves in the level of support that we give. We answer everything as fast as we can because we know how frustrating it is when you get into something. You're like, like I can't figure it out. Like we don't want that to
Yeah.
be a blocker for you. So
Awesome.
always feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help anytime.
Perfect. Well, this has been perfect timing, not only with the Etsy changes, but Father's Day and the Decoflay. I think this is really cool. Always great to have you on, Chris. And thanks for sharing all these updates with us. I think it can really help a lot of us get a lot more sales during this year and with the personalization, because it's huge on Etsy, as well as like if you're doing Shopify or every B store too. So
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
great timing. Thanks
For
for
sure.
being on
Yeah.
the channel, Chris. Hope to see you again in maybe less than 6 months next time.
Yeah. Perfect. That sounds great. Thanks for having me on. It was great chatting with you.
It was great chatting with you too. See you later, man.
Alrighty. Thanks.
Bye.